Welcome again to Reyna Clothier. Today we'll be discussing the stripe combination to your ensemble. So what I mean by that is you have three pieces essentially. You have your jacket, you have your dress shirt, and you have your tie. Obviously, if you're not wearing a tie, so it's a two-piece. But how do you make a combinations of those? So one business fashion tip is don't have more than 3 stripes on any of those. So you can mix and match. You can typically have two stripes, but when you have 2 different stripes, like I have right now, I have a very subtle. You can barely see it on the camera, but if you get closer here in person, you can actually see the stripes here. So it's a very subtle charcoal suit, but with a very subtle stripe. And then you have a little bit bolder stripe that you can see on the tie. So this is 2 out of 3 of your pieces being stripes. Now, when you have even 2, you still can be contrast or make a contrast from the stripes on your jacket. So I don't know if you remember my suit before that I normally wear as well, I have a it sticks out, a very stick out stripe jacket, so a suit essentially as well, so you can see the difference. And if I were to wear this tie with that jacket, that's very noticeable, the stripes, that's going too much as far as your ensemble. So you want, even though you have 2 stripes and not 3 different stripes on your shirt, you don't have a third stripe design on your shirt, and you would typically want to make them either a smaller line. On this jacket on the mannequin is a very thinner, the diameter, a very thin part of the stripe part of it. And then with this tie, it'll be perfect as well because it sticks out and a little wider, the stripes. So you have those ways to kind of mix and match, if you will, or coordinate your ensemble of those. But if you notice, even when you have a striped tie and a striped suit, whether they're contrast, that would be the biggest thing of wearing a solid dress shirt. So on the bottom, think of a canvas. If you're an artist, you would definitely understand. The canvas is blank. Is white, is blank, is very plain essentially. It doesn't start off with stripes or anything like that. So the canvas is your dress shirt. So you would like to have a solid dress shirt if you're going to quote unquote paint or have different designs on your tie or your jacket. So it's okay to wear 2 out of 3 pieces with stripes, but once you note it, or once you look at your the separation of each stripe on your tie, it should contrast to the subtleness of your stripe on your jacket. Also, vice versa. If you have a very solid tie and a very solid suit jacket, you can be a little creative on your dress shirt. So again, it's the opposite. So your canvas is your solid jacket or your solid tie, and underneath it can stick out a little bit. So most of my clients, when we say stick out, they refer to as just a little subtle pattern. Even on the mannequin, you can barely see that it's a design or a pattern. It actually is. It's a kind of a plaid look essentially, but from your distance there, it looks like a solid blue shirt. But if you notice with your stripe, you have 2 stripes essentially, very subtle. So this is plain solid, and from there you can have a very subtle, again, not stripe. This is perfect example of this mannequin that I used. There's 2 stripes. The very subtle stripe of the jacket, and you can see more of a stripe on the tie, and then very subtle, if not plain, as far as your shirt. So use that as a business fashion tip when you are presenting yourself or looking in your closet and say, okay, what should I wear today for an interview or for work? How do I present myself? you can't go wrong with a striped tie or even a pattern tie with a subtle striped suit and with a plain shirt, whether it's blue or white. Those are your go-to ensembles. I love it. I'm a striped guy, so I just love it. And then with your pocket square, you can add a little pizzazz, a little more elegance to it as well. So that is a business fashion tip. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at any of our social media sites. We post twice weekly on all our platforms. And thank you very much.